All righty, good morning. We are recording. It is, oh my goodness, June 3rd. June 3rd, it's June. Holy cow. I'm having all kinds of experiences this week about it being June. And one of those is I have a birthday this week. So not always, but this year I'm like a little bit like I can feel this little bit of, I don't know what it is, like unsettled, not about my age, that doesn't bother me at all, but it's something very interesting energetically that's unusual for me in this week. So just put that out there to put it out there and whatever that's about, right? But it's like, how did it get to be June?
Right, that's the question.
That's the question. Yeah. And just a quick, this probably has something to do with it, but I guess this is my check-in and my share before we start, which I don't normally do a lot of, but my kids are really bad about birthdays. I mean, they're just bad. I mean, they'll call me, but like, that's it. Like, and so that typically bothers Rob more than it bothers me until this year. And now I'm like, oh, that's not right. And then Rob forgot how old I was, which last year he turned 70. So it was this big focus on his 70th party. And so I feel like he skipped my age. So I'm feeling a little invisible in my own family.
Oh.
I know, isn't that, it's weird. So anyway, just say that to, I don't know, maybe, beg for acknowledgement or something. I don't know. But anyway, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
I saw a post on Facebook from a friend of mine who lives in Australia a couple of days ago, and it was her birthday, and she did this big old long thing because she has, similar sort of, unmet expectations historically around her birthday, and she did this whole beautiful post. I'm like, oh, that was really good. I like that. So anyway, let's call our space and then clear me so that I can be very present. And here's Leila, perfect timing. And so then we can do check-in and say hello and all that. Hey, Leila.
Hey, guys.
Welcome. Let's call our space. Let's set our container and call our space, and boom, there you are. So we'll take a few moments and feel the energy of this group. We're bringing Carolyn. Sometimes she comes on video, sometimes she doesn't, but we just feel the energy of this group. In fact, look at the circle. Look at the faces on your screen. And remember the essence of every woman you see. Remember, recall energetically, vibrationally, the love, the appreciation, the witnessing that you have for every woman here. And as you recall that for everyone else, recall how it was, how it is to be witnessed, to be lifted, to be seen as the essence in all of your glory, in all of it, not diminishing any of the hard or the challenge or any of that, and yet seeing beyond it, seeing the radiance of your essence, becoming the radiance of your essence. So just become it. Like, just feel that shift, just boom, shift. Oh yeah, that's who I am and who I'm becoming. There's my essence right there. Right there. So breathe. Relax. And align the truth of who you are becoming. Allow that vibration to permeate and penetrate and fill the inner spaces of your being as you connect through your feet to the earth, through your crown, to the sun, through your spiritual heart, to the field of the eternal now moment, the field of infinite possibilities, the field in which your very soul is being called to receive, called to grow, called to become. Drop your shoulders, open your chest. Lean even more forward into the future beingness with all of your intentions fulfilled in your spiritual life, in your family life, in your work life, your vocation, in your money, in your health, in your time. Relax even more deeply. Ah, there it is. There it is. There it is. It's that place of dedicating to holding it, feeling it, allowing it. Take another deep breath in. If there's a word, a phrase, a message, just allow it to take form. Notice it. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Ah. And so it is. And so we let it be. For me, it's such a simple reminder. We can go to that place any moment we choose to remember to do it. So, thank you. So, what's happening in context of this group? Remembering our intention here is to stay connected in the high vibration, to stay connected to our intentions, to stay connected to our spiritual journey and the expansion of that. And this Monday morning is really, it's really your time to check in, to connect, to be together. And based on what we share, we'll wrap up our time with a process of some kind. So I missed y'all.
Is this our last one?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You I think, Leila, you said you had the number 7 and I had the number 90 days. So I'm scheduled to go towards the end of July. Not the very end because I'll be traveling, but I'll just tell you, let me go pull my calendar up real quick.
I agree.
I have it on my schedule through Where is it? I have it on my schedule through the 8th of July, at least. Because that'll bring us up to our 90-day container kind of sort of. Speaking of that, most of you have done at least one session, and so it's time to, if you'd like, there's no requirement, but you've got it, to go ahead and your next one. And that can be clearing, that can be activation, that can be intentions, that can be whatever it is that you have. Really support you. I'm here to support you in your ever-evolving journey.
Okay.
So with that, where are you? What's happening? How do you feel? What are you experiencing recently?
I think last time we were talking, I talked with Eliza about this already, but last time we were talking, I think I brought up to you guys about how this guy had sent me a message wanting to do my tarot because there was negative energy in my life. Did I talk to you guys about that?
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Maybe
Well,
it was.
I don't know. Anyway, so let me backtrack then. I had pulled up a just for fun thing on a tarot, and it said that there were so many great things coming my way. And then not long after that, I got an email from the same guy saying that there was some negative energy in my life that he could cleanse it or clear it for me. And, of course, it only cost me $35 or something like that for him to work with me. And it kind of made me mad at him because, because it puts that negative in your head, and then you think about it, and then you look for it, or, whatever. And I knew better. It was like, no, that's not true. You're just trying to make money off of me. And, I'm good because I can keep the positive part going. And if I can't, I can always call Eliza, or I can just sit and be quiet and put it back into positive realm. But what I found really funny was last week I had an issue with electricity. I plugged in my vacuum cleaner and I blew out a couple of rooms of lights, but I didn't blow the breaker. So anyway, long story short, it came to find out that somewhere in my house, negative energy had shorted out. And so they finally tracked it down and they were able to fix it and put it all back together and everything, and all the lights worked and stuff again. And I thought, maybe you did pick up on the negative energy being a problem in my house. But I fixed it in a lot better way. Although it did cost me a lot more than $35.
Yes. Right?
But I didn't let it bring me down. I didn't allow his email to make me start looking for all of this negative. Oh, I don't have a job yet, or I'm not working yet. Although I have a job, I'm just not working yet. But, or I don't have the income coming in, or I don't this, and I don't that, I didn't go there. And I was very proud of myself for not going there. But when they told me that it was the negative energy in my house that it shorted out, it made me laugh. So I want to email him back and say, I got it fixed. So anyway, it was just kind of funny. So I think that sometimes when somebody says something, even if you're reading an astrology or something like that, somebody says something on a negative, they might be thinking of it in their own perspective of how that can go, rather than how things might really be. And it's up to us to choose how to look at it and how to perceive it and how to work with it. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, that was my week. Between plumbing and electrical, shoot. It was a couple busy days. But
you're being replumbed and rewired, my friend.
I am replumbed, rewired. And then they've told me I need to start looking through the rest of my ceiling to see where else that same issue is. But, but at least I know about it and deal with it. And so and then I got an email from somebody last week and then a phone call and wanting to hire me for something about my application. And I don't remember applying for this one. But it's actually to do merchandising for small self-owned pharmacies. So taking care of like 4 of them every month.
Nice.
So, and again, very flexible schedule. Anytime between the first 2 weeks, I'm like, cool.
Cool. Cool.
So anyway.
And whether you applied for that one or not, you put it out to the universe.
I did. I applied for it one way or another.
And so you could just say, yes, please, and thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sounds easy. Oh my gosh, so easy.
Yeah.
So there's my time.
Awesome. That looked like you were starting, Susan.
Well, I can. I have had a great few weeks or couple of weeks. I've had a bunch of ups and downs, but I have to tell you the best thing that's happened is, well, I had this incredible session with you, Eliza, which shifted my entire world. And so thank you very much. And it created this space for me, like this space that I needed. And I haven't really said, I mean, I think Nancy kind of knows this, but I don't think all of you know that my thing has been like a kind of a food addiction, just issues around food. So Eliza did this incredible session. And so I was able to really understand a huge part of that. Like just, it made so much sense to me and to just relax about it. And so I have, and that's made a huge difference. So that was great. Then some other things have happened. And I have to tell you, over the last couple of days, I am not even interested in food anymore. It's like I know I have to eat, but it's completely different.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like, instead of, like, I went to out to lunch. This is just random. Sounds very random, but it's really big. So I went out to lunch with my friends after church yesterday, and I did not eat my entire food. I didn't eat everything. I didn't eat it. I didn't want to eat it. I ate what I wanted, and then I didn't eat anymore. And that never happens. And then Friday night, I was eating some food that I had pre-made a bunch of meals. Even though I wasn't really focusing on my plan, if I have my food made, it just is easier for me when I come home from work. And so I had done that. And it's interesting. I had like green beans, which is something that, is not a big deal to eat, a lot of those, but I still did not want to eat all of those. So it's completely shifted. And I am relieved and I'm happy. And I just feel like, this is like the biggest thing for me. The biggest thing that my life has revolved around for the last 40 years. And so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so great. And that's the power, really, of dismantling one of those core underlying foundational patterns. Then everything readjusts.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually can come into conscious choice instead of being unconscious addiction.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Susan. Cool.
You're welcome.
I think with me, I'll go next. I think with me, Reverend Eliza, your video on Friday really helped me because uh, everything is going well on an even keel. Okay, but sometimes you think, well, should I be feeling really, really euphoric, or should I be down based upon circumstances that's happening? But but I think the thing is that if we're on an even keel, if you don't have attachment to the results, then you sort of live your life on with contentment, satisfactorily, but you don't look for those real high highs or those real low lows, because once you go really, really high, you're always going to have to come down to a certain level. So that's what I gathered from there, and I'm trying to be okay with that. If everything is on an even keel, if you have that contentment, that satisfaction, then perhaps that is a good. Good, I want to use good, but perhaps that's the place where it is good to be. I was concerned that, oh boy, this has happened. I should really feel just like way up in clouds on cloud nine, or something sad happens, I should be way down sub-zero. But now that if I can experience things on an even level, let the, just the high, yeah, that's great. The low, that's great. But reach the contentment of being satisfied with just being in that space. I think that's where I am now, and not to question whether I should be here, high or low, or if I can just live within that realm of everything being good, everything contentment and satisfaction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's like when we go, and you just said, and just kind of repeat it, when we go way high and then way low, it's like it's like a roller coaster, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so we can be more okay, allowing, accepting of what is, right? It narrows. So you still have a little bit, but it's not like so crazy making.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right? And that actually, physics, if you're in the wave that's this big, it's actually a higher vibration than the wave that's this big.
Gotcha.
Oh.
That real high, real low is ultimately, and I'm not very good at teaching the science because my brain doesn't quite understand it, but that higher vibration is a shorter distance between, which means it's a shorter wave.
Mm.
Go up and down, but your vibration is much higher than when you're like, oh my God, everything's wonderful, everything sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's overall a much lower place to be, even when you think the high is higher. It's really
Gotcha.
not sustainable, and partly because we're really looking for that present moment, higher level overall.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah. So awesome.
Okay.
You're still traveling? Are you still at your sister's?
Yeah, I'm actually in my hometown. My brother is visiting from Illinois, so we're at the home house in my hometown.
Awesome.
But my sister-in-law, just for everybody, is doing well. She's recovering well from her surgery, so we're really happy about that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
I can point at the screen and you will go, oh, it's me.
Is Vivian done? I don't want to.
Yeah, I think she looks complete. Yeah.
Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Well, I got to just say, first of all, Susan and Vivian have triggered awarenesses, and I was listening to your Friday recording, of course, this morning, and reflecting on, and of course, you did this powerful weekend of meditation, and realizing I don't take time to do that. And when you started talking about it as simply as a way to interrupt, my little science or analytical brain needed to know it's a way to interrupt your normal thoughts and patterns, and there's no right way, wrong way to do it, but simply to. So when we dropped down into the meditation you did, and in a second, it was so easy to go back to that meditation we'd done about our future self 2 years out. And she immediately came in, and I had that thought that says, interesting that I keep wanting to put a gap in that time frame. So the word that came out, it was a couple of them was to allow that to be now, and to embrace it being now. And then Vivian's talking about, and I was reflecting on this weekend. I had a talk with my sister, and we go through the family and we talk about our kids and whatever. And she asked, "How are you?" And I did a great job of totally avoiding that question. Just totally, which is really not an honest exchange, because we don't tend to do that. But I couldn't sense an answer. And part of what Vivian's saying is like, I've worked so much since we worked together on detaching some of my hooks to things going on in my kid's life and whatever, that I almost feel disconnected. Instead of being too attached, I've gone to disconnected. And when Vivi is talking about that, that's actually a level of where things aren't up or they aren't down. That actually just helped me in that where you are is still resonating higher than in the midst of those other energies. And I kind of needed to hear that, because I was wanting to label it for me as too disconnected. When in fact, as soon as I just said it, I'm just writing in exactly the right energy right now to participate with life at where it is right now. And but I wanted to label it, and that's interesting that I had to swing between. And Susan can talk about a food addiction, I can talk about the energy addictions. Too engaged or too disconnected. And actually, I'm just right in the middle of all of that, and it's kind of a foreign land. There's a different language in here. So when somebody says, "How are you?" I don't feel great. I don't feel bad, And I wanted to put it as, but it's not. It's if that makes. So there's no language in this space that I'm in. The sounds are the best I can come up with right now, and so I like Vivian calling it. It's more like an even keel, and it's like, oh Lord, I didn't recognize that. That's good. And then I wanted to show another experience this week, and Eliza, you can connect to it. I had the fun of seeing her part of the weekend, and we went out Monday kayaking, and were gifted with going to a friend's house that has a paddleboard. I paddleboarded once, had a great memory of it, and for whatever reason that day, I could no more find my balance to take on a paddleboard than anything under the sun. And my trainer and I were talking about on Monday. I said, all of a sudden I had no muscles in my body, nothing, my core wasn't working. I've worked out all this time. And I honestly said to her, every muscle left. And she said, that's because you went into your fear and your expectation, that instead of the fun of doing it anew, I was coming in it from a different angle. Probably people around I didn't know, and it was all unfamiliar. I couldn't get my legs, I couldn't get steady, and I got frustrated with myself. And she talked about it. She said, honestly, at that stage, nothing good's going to happen because you've gone into a adrenaline rush that didn't launch you forward. It just shut everything down. So as we exercise throughout, Friday morning, she said, okay, your muscles are still there. And I'm going, where? Show me one. Like a perfect whiny little baby. And it seems like such a small lesson, but I realized that one of the areas that is still one of my probably to let it go and to let it heal is I get so frustrated with myself when I can't do something new right off. If I can't master it in a short time, if I don't just go do it, I have so little patience with the learning curve. For myself, I don't feel that way with other people. I'll coach them through anything, I'll work with them, but I am not patient enough with myself to take a breath, let it go, either try again or, like I said that day, it's not happening today, knowing it will happen another time. But it was interesting to have a little fun activity bring up so much stuff about how I treat myself in a moment of uncertainty and where my messaging still goes. So I think it might be time for a session.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to hit the food, we're going to hit the even keel, we're going to hit the frustration.
Right.
And maybe a 2-hour session.
Well, on the paddleboard, you gave yourself exactly like 13 seconds to master it. So there's that.
Time flies when you're in the midst of doing it, and it's like, I got this. I can, no part of my body that's got this. There's nothing going to happen today. But it was more about the self-incrimination and the self-frustration. That was, and I didn't get necessarily spewed or said anything. It's just like, I think I summed it up as, that happened today, which sounds very acknowledging. But there was so much underneath that, like the duck on top of the water going, it's not going to happen today. And down below it's going, so interesting teaching moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And so much of what we're doing is really bringing into awareness what that part of us that is unconscious, that part of us that shuts down. And it does like Kelly says, it's the adrenaline, but once that kicks in, it's like the addiction to the chemical cocktails. And if you can interrupt it immediately, you can. But once it's like the valve is open, boy, you almost have to go through the cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to build a camp there, which is what most of us usually do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. And you have to allow, because it's chemistry.
Yes.
It's not psychology.
Yeah. Yeah. I needed her to tell me that actually the system shuts down, and there was no amount of positive thinking wasn't that called for at that moment, but just to let it go, and she shared experience there. She's a super athlete; she can do anything, and they're wakeboarding or whatever. And somebody said to her, "Do you want to go out and do it?" And she goes, "No." I know I can't do that today. She's, doesn't have an ounce of fat on her, and she's muscle. And she knew to say, no. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, I didn't try that word first. A guy said, I like that. So anyway, it's as surface as that sounds, it was just absolutely other things that came up is how I treat my business, how I treat my interactions of and judgment of myself, and how I set a bar that's not too high, but I don't allow myself to grow there. And so coming back around to your video on meditating, and I realized, okay, you're being called to come home to quiet time in the morning. You're not setting the container for the rest of your day. And so it's amazing how this all has intertwined with all of us and what we're doing. So
yeah. Yeah. And when we get triggered, or life happens, right? And 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 there is that gush of the chemicals in the body. You can still choose to notice what you notice, take a breath, interrupt the pattern, but you can't interrupt the pattern until you change.
Yeah.
Like when we're in it, we have to physically like pivot or step back, or we have to. You
Yeah.
can't expect ourselves, and we do expect ourselves in the midst of that, to be able to change, because you can't change in that place.
Yes.
To step back.
Yeah.
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 So also, there's also a video that was a Friday video that's on the web page, which is on the Divine Awakening Lady Lizard page, that several, it's sort of cycling around, but you might go back and look at, is disconnected or stuck or free or something like that. Is that the one you were watching, Vivian, that you were talking about? Yeah, and Leila kind of mentioned it earlier, and Nancy, that one might be a good really kind of go back. And those are there. They're mostly YouTube, so I don't know if you can download them, but you can tag them, keep that page open, go back, use that stuff as much as you want. It's there for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. Thanks. Katie, where are you at today? How are you been?
Pretty good. So I don't know if I heard you, Nancy, say our future selves 2 years from now, because I was thinking when I did that back in Sedona, I was thinking like 20 years. But anyway, like within all that, within that vision, of what called to me, several of you have spoken on a number of different things. One thing, so I'm playing catch up. So last night I hit the video with where you go into the energy of love and inspiration and gratitude. Oh, joy, love, joy, inspiration, and gratitude. So that's where I am. And there's a few more, and I was very much present to. Oh, I better schedule my sessions, and all of that. So I'm playing some catch up there, and it's all good. And then the other thing is I have a lot of. I was really present to this last night as well. I have a lot of things going on in all these areas, and things that I would like to do, or pathways I could go down, or whatever it is. And it's like where to focus my time and energies. And when we did the opening, what I really got was go within and just go within, get those answers, and then take those paths and go and do them. You were talking about one of my things has had to do with my body, and I've just gone with it, and I started wearing some clothes that maybe they're not fitting like quite as good as like they could, but they're fitting, and so I'm like, well, hell with it, I'm just going to wear those. And there's a lot more that I can't do that with, but I have not found myself like disciplined enough on several fronts. The eating front was one of them, and so that is one. I have a friend of mine had gifted me with a book of a whole plan to kind of help lose some of that stubborn belly weight and all that. And so that's there for me to step into. And Mike was saying just this morning, hey, I'll support that, because sometimes in the past, he would bring stuff around that wasn't supportive of it. And it was, but the other front was the gym. And I'm in this, I actually looked up 3 places and where I could go and become a member and get into that. I used to go to I belonged for years to a health club, and then I stopped when my body was just having all the issues. And I still have to say I have some concerns about going in there, particularly like doing a 6-month thing and going, okay, where am I going to be able to go with this? But I think I need to just get into that and really just throw myself into that and, continue on, just, regroup there. And that's a big thing for me. I mean, so I have, so as I'm saying this, I have a little bit of concern there, but I actually have 3 places I'm going to go and check out and see which one feels like the right road to go down. There's something else. There was something else on a few other fronts. The things that I was referring to in terms of which pathways to go down, all of those really relate to the vision of the future self and components of that are important to me. And some of it involves the spiritual development, some of it involves stepping out into the world in a bigger way, and some of it involves the yoga path, which has been real important to me. And on that note, I didn't even listen to the whole thing. I listened to maybe 1 minute of the yoga master talk, but it was perfect timing. I had a couple of things come up where I think it would be perfect to take into our session, Eliza. I never got triggered on these things that came up to the point where I was like in it and couldn't get out of it, but it was just uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable, and I noticed in one instance, I noticed myself getting kind of frustrated and kind of not like acting out towards anybody or anything, but kind of on the verge of some of that frustration. And what it was about was places where I didn't feel included, and I felt like I should have been, like where and the yoga master said, whenever you have something going on outside like that, look within. Where is it in you that, and I was like, okay, so where am I not feeling worthy? Where am I, feeling unwanted? Like what is that? And it didn't really, I just got to a point where I was clear it was within me, and I was able to really be with it and be there. And I didn't totally, I had some stuff come up just this morning, some that we can take into our session, but I thought, this is where I need to be on everything. Anything that comes up from the outside, just to immediately go, okay, what is that? What is that within me? And just be like, well, thank you for that opportunity, because that one's huge. That's a whole level of self-acceptance that, I'm like really eager for the breakthrough on that one, because how awesome, and, so I guess that's and then there is one other component. So just like, and it just came up yesterday in preparation for this call. We're part of this stuff about choosing paths and all this is I was like writing down this list of stuff, and there's all these things that are, in my life that I'm like, it just feels not quite overwhelmed, but I'm not like really feeling powerful or, at ease in many of these places, because some of it is some things left undone. And so I feel like I have some clearing to do. Mm-hmm. I never did get my office organized yet, but I think that could be a really good first step, because last night I was like, I need to go and check on this, and I had no idea where what I was, it's in a box somewhere, and so but that's also just about clearing, and maybe on some things just kind of going, okay, it's not that path for now, it's this path. Let's head down here. But so that's where I am. I don't know when we get our letters, but Maybe that's later. Some people yesterday got letters from an experience they did 6 months ago, and I thought, man, I'd love to see that future self letter. But the future self vision is still like really calling to me, and I intend to before our session next week make my way through the rest of the Wednesday and Friday tools. And I didn't realize that, thank you Eliza, that we could go into YouTube and save them for the future, because what happens to our Lady Lizards thing after this ends? Is it still up there, or do you?
Yeah, it's just a private page for us, so I have no reason to take it down. You're the only one with a link to it, so it'll be there.
Okay, so we could just leave it there. We don't really need to go in. Anyway.
Yeah, unless there's like, you have a favorite out of all of them, you can save that, just so you remember. But yeah, that page is just for us.
That's great. So thank you all. So that's Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Holy cow, what a lot is moving, right? For all of us. Yeah.
Oops.
All right. Other comments, questions? I want to start a process here in a minute, but anything else that got sort of moved that you want to put into the circle? Okay. Oh, lots of any requests. I mean, besides, all the things that were moving.
I do. I'm kind of with Katie on clearing. Because I need to do a lot of getting rid of stuff, and I seem to be a little stuck on that.
Is that what you said too, Leala, too? Yep, clearing. Okay. I have this one client who is she's so funny. Oh my God. She like totally doesn't understand what I do. And she goes, let's just do some of that woo-woo stuff that you do, that hocus pocus stuff that you do. And I said, oh, you mean like power washing? It's just, yeah, let's power wash my subconscious. Okay.
I like that one too.
I think that I must have said power wash, but it must have been a day Rob was power washing outside the window or something. All right. So let's take a moment and feel all of the energy. Can you feel, and I know you can, but just to presence it, feel how everybody kind of relates. Like the energy of the circle is so contained, but I don't mean contained. It's so rich that even though we're doing different things in our lives, there's this interconnection. There's this depth that has continued to build since our time together in Sedona. So just presencing that, feeling the depth and the richness of the container. Just being aware of that, we begin to bring our awareness from the outer to the inner. Breathing in, like imagine yourself really just stepping in to the center of the container. Remember at the end of the retreat, we stood with our backs to each other as we stepped out. So feel yourself in the center of the container with everything that everybody has brought. And feel the vibration of essence. The vibration of who we are becoming, future selves, the vibration of a higher awareness. And so let's feel together love. Allow yourself to come into alignment and resonance with the vibration that is love. And as you come into the vibration, as you come into resonance with love, feel your system relaxing anything and everything that is not that. So allow your full awareness to be love. And begin to notice the texture, the flavor, the subtleties inside this container. Because it's not just love in us, as us, through us. It's love permeates and penetrates and fills this container. Feel what that feels like. Become familiar with the subtleties of love. And become aware of joy. And feel it, align with it, come into coherence with joy. And notice how that flavor is a bit different. That subtlety is a bit different. It feels different, senses different, tastes different. And bring your awareness to inspiration. Become inspiration vibrationally. And again, feel the subtle differences. Feel how your body activates and what comes up to be released, relaxed, to let go. And feel with inspiration where it lands in your body. It's not going to be in your mind or your thoughts. So come into a deeper awareness of inspiration. Come into an awareness of your future self. Whether it's 2 years or 3 years or 20 years future, see her standing with you. Notice what you notice about her. What is she emanating and radiating today? What is her frequency, her vibration? And turn and stand beside her. Shoulder to shoulder, holding hands. And together you see, whether it's on a movie screen or across a field, you see the history of your subconscious. From this morning all the way through time. And you see with eyes and the intention of clearing everything and anything that is unlike the essence of who you are becoming. So just allow an awareness, a pattern, a belief, an emotion. It's important to name it, to identify it, because it begins to lift it from the stuck places of the unconscious so that you can clear it. So pick one, pick two, pick three, just let them sort of pop up from the surface as you and your future self look across your timeline. And because our clearing is not about getting rid of, but rather instead about transcending. As those patterns, those emotions, those beliefs are surfacing, let them rise up even higher. Let them begin to gather into a single pattern, a single container. And name that container. Name what is inside that container. Name it for yourself. And then we lift it up. We lift that container up and we give it to a higher vibration. We lift it out of the past into the now moment and into infinity. We give it to spirit. We lift it up. And once it's as high as you can lift it, toss it. And watch it as it rises from particle to wave, from matter to energy. It transcends. And in the transcending, there is an energy coming down. Might look like bubbles or crystals or rainbows. Could be like raindrops or little electrical charges. What is that is raining down? It is what is transcendent. So often love or joy, or inspiration or freedom. Put a name on that, name it, and then claim it. I am freed. I belong. I choose wisely. I am alignment. I am one. Allow it to be your experience and your statement as you receive it. You're all muted, but go ahead and say it out loud. And then because we can and because it's fun, pick up that power washer that just showed up by your feet. And hold it with so much love, as we do the deep cleaning of the process that just happened. And just spray it, and feel the rainbows of the power washing hitting those places that have been transcended. Spraying off any dust, any cobweb that might be related to this process. And with each drop of that power washer, there is more magic, There is more of what you claimed, of what you received, and there's a rainbow of color. So feel your joy. Now aim that power washer up, lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. Let it go straight up on top of you and feel that water shooting way up in the sky and then raining down on you even more. Love, joy, inspiration, acceptance. Whatever it is, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. And feel your heart come into gratitude. Allow gratitude to fill the inner spaces of your being as you align with the high vibration of gratitude. Find yourself still standing with your future self. Find yourself standing back to back in our circle with everybody's power washes aimed in the sky. And let's have a water fight of love, of grace, of peace, of joy. The power washer is clearing away anything and everything that is unlike love or is neutral, unlike neutral, and filling you, blessing you with that which you most desire, energetically, vibrationally, integrating that through all aspects of your being, through all your bodies, through all dimensions of time and space, through all states of awareness and consciousness, right now into this now moment. Feel all of us in that circle with our future selves, laughing, playing, enjoying. Say your statement one more time out loud. One hand on your heart, the other hand on your lower belly, anchoring in the experience, anchoring in the new state of being, allowing the memory to be implanted, allowing the biology and the chemistry to be changed by this experience, allowing the neural pathways of fun and light and laughter to be ingrained. Say it one more time. And so we let it be. Take a deep breath in. Take your hand off your heart and your belly and wrap it around your shoulders in a great big hug. And when you're ready, we're a little bit after 11, but I want to hear your statement, just a single statement. So I'm going to unmute you all. Leila.
I am peace and love.
Nancy.
And free.
Say it again.
I am gifted and free.
Katie.
I am love, pure love.
Vivian.
I am love.
Susan.
I am my true self.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So your practice is to recall this again and again and again. Every day, a couple times a day, every hour. It doesn't have to take a long time. But you can just choose. Oh, wait, I forgot for a moment, but this is true. I am this. I am this. And allow it to allow yourself to be there long enough that your vibration comes into resonance with it, comes into coherence with it. And then keep practicing. All right, ladies.
You all.
Bye.
Love you all.
Buddy, have a
Love
great
you
week.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 So, Liza,
Yes.
can we put it just a little bit later than 10:15?